Blues HD1 East St. Louis 101 ESPN is driven by Brown and Crouppen Law Firm. It's time for the First Community Credit Union Blues postgame show.
Presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Brewing Company on 101 ESPN.
Score as the Blues fall to the Sabres this evening to wrap up the home portion of the 2025 calendar year. One more to go before we turn those calendars to 2026. Welcome everyone into our extended post-game coverage, the fourth period, when you're home for the Blues 101 ESPN. Along with Joe Vitale, I'm Alex Ferrario. We're live up on our YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL to dive right in to tonight's Ted Drew's three takeaways. And Joe, I'll just kind of continue the conversation that you guys were having on the post-game breakdown. We got the chance to talk to Steve Ott after this one, and a little frustrated, I would imagine, especially considering how you started this game. But the one line that he had to us was, he talked about losing momentum and not getting it back. And I said, how do you get that back? And he said, well, somebody's got to go out there and take it. Somebody has to go out there, make the play, and finish the opportunity. And he referenced the Robert Thomas there play at the end, Jimmy Snuggerud play at the end. And that does seem to be what the Blues have lacked this season, that guy to go out there and just take that opportunity.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about on the broadcast where we were saying someone needs to go out there and grab this game, make a difference. You know, go out there and kind of Connor McDavid it, if you will. And listen, we don't have a Connor McDavid, and no teams outside the Edmonton Oilers do. Or maybe if you're the Colorado Avalanche, you have it in McKinnon right now, and those are special players. But to some degree, you have to have one of your top guys go out there and make a dent and make a difference in a game where you need energy, you need a spark. And because the Blues, about three-quarters of the way through that first period, they just started playing back on their heels. And right after I said that, you know, a couple shifts later, Robert Thomas comes out there and does that.
Yeah.
You know, he's killing a penalty, and he makes a terrific move, and he finds Stenberg there on the back door. And listen, it's not on Stenberg, and it's a hard play for him to read as Owen Power, the defender's body, was right in the middle there. It was hard for him to pick up that puck and that pass.
And that's a 6'6" body, too.
Yeah, it's a big body. So, you know, was Steve Ott referencing more of a Robert Thomas shot there, you know, possibly. Remember earlier in that period, again on the kill,
yeah,
Thomas had a shot opportunity where he just missed a corner there and didn't look like the goaltender got a piece of it, didn't hit a bar, and it simply just missed the net. So then he went back maybe to a pass. But, you know, there was opportunities there with the Thomas 2-on-1. Do you shoot that puck? I think hindsight 2020, you probably do. You know, those are the ones that kind of keep you up a little bit at night if you're Thomas. You know, and then you have Jimmy Snuggerud there at the very end. A turnover by Lyon. It's a one-goal game. The goaltender behind, he tries to stop it. It comes right to the side of the net, and then you're going to see the Blues forward set up Jimmy Snuggerud all alone in front. The pass was a little bit off. It's such a rush play. It's bang-bang where, you know, he doesn't put it tape to tape. And, you know, one of those where for a one-timer, that puck is about 6 inches too far in front of him, so he can't get the one-timer off. Again, you go back and make a new decision. You just probably stop that puck because you have more time and space than you think. But also, it's late in the game, and he's a young player. So opportunities were there. The Blues let it slip. A couple opportunities for their top players. Can't find the back of the net. And this Buffalo team, they continue to run. They're a confident group. We talked about in the pregame, before the game, Alex, as far as you have to stay patient, you have to stay structured, because Buffalo, one thing about them, everything they're touching is turning to gold. Every opportunity, every mistake seems like it's ended up in the opponent's back of the net, and it certainly was the case here once again tonight.
They just go to the net. I mean, like the Ostlund goal, I know they scored off of the turnover, but Tuck's goal that was called back from the kicking motion in front of the net, the other Tuck goal was off of the rush. Benson gets that deflection, tip, bats it down. I mean, it's just net front presence nonstop. You know, Joe, we've talked a lot about that, not just this season, but in years past, of that shot-first mentality. Jim Montgomery has referenced it, of how, you know, they got a lot of guys that think pass first. Can that change in a player, or is that just a DNA of a player, and you have to go out there and find shot-first mindsets to play with the pass-first guys?
No, it absolutely can change, and I think we saw it here with Robert Thomas, you know, about 3 summers ago. You know, right after they wrapped up a season, I believe it was the year after they lost to the Avalanche in that first round, where they needed him to become more of a shot threat. Not necessarily change who he is, but if you can have a shot, and you can have that in your arsenal, in your toolbox, it's just going to make the passing game open up. So that summer, he dedicated himself to working on his shot. And then you come in the next couple of years, you're at the over a point per game pace. We saw, especially last year, the second half surge he had, one of the best players in that second half, where he is shooting the puck more. So, yes, to answer your question, players can adapt and players can change. And I think that's what we saw there with Thomas. And I think we're going to need to continue to see that with some of these younger top players we have. And I'm not going to put Kyrou in that young category because he's not young anymore, and he is more of a shot-first player. But, it's games like this where you need the Kyrous to step up. You need the Buchneviches to go on another goal streak. Maybe not 2 goals, but you pop one in there late. And it's hard with the Jimmy Snuggerud and the Jordan Kyrous because, remember, they just did miss a lot of time because of injury, especially with Kyrou, which was a lower body. So you don't want to put too much pressure on him. You don't know exactly the state of where his knee is at after he's only 2 games back from that injury. But those are the games where you look at the stat line, you're saying, okay, 4 shifts in the third period for Jordan Kyrou. Didn't make much of a dent. The really alarming stat, which kind of says it all, I think, is in that third period, which Curbs and I broke down, 2 shots on goal in the third period. You're down by a goal, and you only manufacture 2 shots. It's simply not enough, and the Blues have got to figure out a way to dig much deeper than they did in that third period if they want to make a difference in this season, because this was a moment that passed them by. You had opportunity to get back to 500. You haven't been there in over 2 months, as we talked about. It was the Detroit game back in October 25th, actually. And you had an opportunity to not only get back to 500, Alex, but continue to build momentum. This would have made you 4-1-1, right, in the last 6 games. And now all of a sudden you're back to 3-2-1, and you're 2 games below 500, and you're going up against the Colorado Avalanche, who, boy, they're good.
I mean, they're a juggernaut right now.
27-2-7. I was doing a little bit of math there while you were wrapping it up, but if they continue at this pace, that's going to put them at roughly around 138 to 139 points, which, of course, will be the record.
That's almost 70 wins.
It's 70 to 71 wins is what they're projecting. Now, they're going to have their bumps, you think, but I've been saying that for the last month or two.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like, well, they're not good. They're going to eventually simmer off at some point. They haven't. It looks like they're going to win again here tonight against the LA Kings.
Yeah.
I think last I saw they were up 3-1. So that's another win. So it'll really put them at 28-2-7. Again, at this rate, and at this pace, they are going to surpass the NHL record, which is, again, this is early, but it's still fun to play with these numbers. 135 points, which was earned by the Boston Bruins, Jim Montgomery's Boston Bruins back in 22-23, which is the NHL record. So I say that because that's now where the Blues are heading tomorrow as they face the Avalanche at Colorado, and they have been on fire in that building there as well. So my point is, it's not getting much easier here. You were hoping to build momentum and have a really good feeling and a confident team heading into that very tough matchup here on Wednesday. And unfortunately, I think the Blues now are a group that is trying to rally and pick up some broken pieces and figure out what they are again.
Well, and not to look too far ahead, but, man, the month of January is rough in terms of the teams you play. You see Vegas twice. You get the Mammoth. You have the Hurricanes, Tampa Bay. Then you go to the West Coast where you take on Edmonton and Winnipeg. You get Dallas twice. You get Florida once. It's a pretty heavy schedule in January. And not to make light of what they played, but we're talking about a rep where they went through the Predators twice, the Blackhawks, the Jets, the Rangers. So, this is the harder portion of the schedule that's coming up.
The one good thing I would say about January, and you compare it to December, because I think the caliber of teams is better.
Yeah.
However, in January, what I like about it is it's the last full month before the Olympic break, and there are these little gaps.
Yes.
In
pockets for rest.
Yeah, pockets for rest is a really good way to put it, because you look at tonight. What was tonight? Tonight was game 40.
Yeah.
The Seattle Kraken are playing right now. After tonight, they'll have still 3 games in hand on the Blues.
Wow.
San Jose Sharks, 2 games in hand. The Nashville Predators, 3 games in hand, 2 after tonight again as well. So a lot of these teams around have 2-3 games in hand. And you're wondering, where the heck are the Blues going to get a break and all these teams are going to make it up? It's in January, because you have, a good really chunk of 3 days off after that back-to-back coming up this weekend, those afternoon games, which I'm excited about. But then you got 3 days off. The following week, you have a 2-day break. You play Carolina, another 2-day break. The following week, when you make that little Edmonton, Winnipeg, Dallas run, 2-day gap between 2 games there. You come home for a 2-day break. I mean, this is a team that hasn't had a 3-day break all season long outside the Christmas break. They have that coming up, as well as 4 2-day breaks. When you look at December and November, I mean, all the back-to-backs, it seemed like it was just game off. And now some breaks are coming. I say that because now you're heading into the Olympic break when you hit the turn of the calendar, and you're going to have to play playoff hockey.
Yeah.
You're going to have to play how they played this first period tonight, the physicality, the jump, the energy. That is the brand they know they're going to have to play to be successful. The good news is, Alex, they're going to have the rest to hopefully keep up with that pace.
Well, and luckily it's not a whole lot of home road. You got 2 at home, 3 on the road, 2 at home, 3 on the road, 4 at home. So like you're kind of congested together to where you're not running around as much as you would have liked. So Joe, appreciate the time, man. I know you got to load up to head out to Colorado for New Year's, so we'll see you when you come home for a little back-to-back afternoon hockey.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. It's going to be fun for the fans, fun for the players, fun for St. Louis. It's a very rare one, so enjoy. Get to this building. It's going to be a lot of fun. Some good teams there as well with Vegas and Montreal. It's going to be some good matchups, but Happy New Year to you and Jim and everyone out there listening. Be safe out there, and can't wait to talk to you guys here on Wednesday from Colorado, and ultimately we'll see you back here at the turn of the calendar. I'm ready to say goodbye to 2025. I'm looking forward to 2026.
Understandably so, buddy. Good to see you, man. Happy New Year. Have a safe trip, and we'll talk to you on Wednesday night against the Colorado Avalanche. He's Joe Vitale. That is our Ted Drews 3 takeaways. Ted Drews really is good guys and gals. Let's get our soundbite of the night here from Cam Fowler.
The soundbite of the night is presented by Rocket Convenience Stores. Fuel your car and your daily cravings at Rocket Convenience Stores.
Strange game. You guys came out with a lot of energy, a lot of physicality, and it just seemed like you guys couldn't get back there. Grab the momentum away.
I mean, I thought we were in it most of the game. You guys were fighting hard, and obviously it's a team playing with a lot of confidence over there. So, I didn't quite see it the same way. I thought we continued to fight, and towards the end there, in the middle of the third period, they got that goal, and we just weren't able to capitalize after that. But I thought we fought hard, gave ourselves a chance to win the hockey game.
In the third, it seemed like you guys had some chances to tie the game. Just we were that close tonight.
Yeah, no, I thought we had some good looks, all the way throughout the game. It wasn't just the third period, so. I thought we were offensively we were doing a good job. Defensively, I think we were trying to take away time and space as best we could. They have a lot of good players, and we were trying to make the necessary adjustments we needed to give ourselves a chance to win the hockey game. So, we'll take a look at it and keep moving forward.
Kim, what'd you see on that third goal? Kind of a bang-bang play.
Yeah, I mean, it just one of those things. The puck goes up in the air and guys, swats it in from behind the goal line. That's hockey. Sometimes those things are going to happen.
Defensively, what did you want to do better as a team?
Well, I think they get a lot of motion going. Their D are very active, so I think if we could stall the puck a little bit more. Get guys up against the glass, try and create some scrums. That would give us a good chance, but it's hard, when they get rolling. They have a lot of high-end players, and, they capitalized on some of their chances tonight, but I thought we dug in, too, during stretches and, tried to make life hard on them and do a good job in front of the net. And so there were spurts where we did that, but there's obviously always room for improvement.
There you go. That's Cam Fowler after the team's 4-2 loss to the Sabres tonight. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Jim Montgomery. We'll have our final look as the Blues fall to the Sabres tonight, 4-2. Alex Ferrario with you in your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN. Alex Ferrario back with you to talk about my friends at Classic Air Care, the company that has been making people comfortable since 1926 when it comes to your HVAC system. They keep reminding people to make sure you're changing your filter because that is the number one issue that happens with those HVAC systems. When something goes wrong, it's typically, well, when was the last time you changed your filter? And then the look of confusion on the homeowner's face is typically their answer. I know I was that one when I first purchased our home back in 2016. It's a really cool thing that they have, though. It's a filter program that you subscribe to it, and every month they'll send a new furnace filter to your home on your doorstep, which is just that nice little reminder of, hey, you need to change that filter on your furnace. But it's more than that. They've got technicians that have 30-plus years of experience, incredible customer service, tons of positive reviews like this one from Victor. Eric over at Classic Air Care did an outstanding job. In no time, he had our furnace diagnosed. The part was on his truck, and the furnace was blowing warm air. We were super happy with Sipton with the quality of work that they provided. So call them today, schedule online. Just do me a favor and tell them Alex Ferrario sent you. It's Classic Air Care and ClassicAirCare.com.
Welcome back to the First Community Credit Union Blues postgame show.
Presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Brewing Company on 101 ESPN.
Final time tonight here on our extended postgame coverage, the fourth period. Alex Ferrario back with you as the Blues fall to the Buffalo Sabres tonight 4-2. Suffer their 17th regulation loss this season. And right now, Utah is up 3-2 on the Nashville Predators. So it'll just kind of keep the Blues in the midst of that muddy middle in that Western Conference. But you look at the ice time tonight, and, Joe and Curbs were talking about it. We talked about it a little bit as well. But, man, just go through the forwards. Robert Thomas had 18 minutes and 28 seconds of ice time. Pavel Buchnevich, 17:01. Then there's a drop-off, 15:58 for Toropchenko, 15:33 for Neighbors, 15:41 for Oscar Sundqvist, 15:51 for Braden Shen. Then there's another drop-off, 13:41 for Stenberg, 13:12 for Kyrou, 13:24 for Jimmy Snuggerud. Then another drop, 13:23 for Matthew Joseph. Then 10:36 for Fabry. Then 9:17 for Dalibor Dvorsky. Man, there was just a lot of inconsistent play with the forwards tonight. So let's hear what Jim Montgomery saw from his team as we get his thoughts on tonight's loss.
It's time to hear from the head coach, Jim Montgomery, presented by Fisher Window and Door Store, offering quality American-made Marvin windows and doors. Visit their showrooms in Brentwood or East Alton, Illinois.
I thought in the first period, offensively, we played to the goal line. We played fast offensively. Defensively, we didn't defend our net hard enough. We weren't physical enough. And in the second period, I didn't think we were physical enough at either end. And that's why in the second period, it really became, they tilted the ice on us. We have some stuff we have to clean up, you know, and coming back from the break, like, you know, like we didn't protect our slot well enough. We weren't pressuring our next play speed. And what I mean by that is when it transitions to defense, our urgency to get back, or when we get a turnover, 5 guys looking to go, it just wasn't there. The puck wasn't moving fast. But what really comes down to is we got to have a better effort than that. We have to play with more purpose and pride. And the physicality just isn't good enough right now.
So were the 3 goals just all self-inflicted wounds?
I mean, I can't say they're all self-inflicted. You know, poor puck play, you know, really contributed to the first 2 goals against. You know, we're running a face-off play. We put it in the skates, jackhammer it in skates, goes the other way. But, you know, the other 2 goals, it's them making plays and us not taking away time and space and killing plays. It's just not the intensity in the way we approach one-on-one battles today. You know, it's not at the standard that we're going to accept.
I feel like it was there during the first period, though, that intensity.
Offensively, yes. Defensively, no. There's a big difference there. The way we defended our net was not good enough in the first period. The way we got to their net, the way we had good connected offensive hockey in the offensive zone, that was the bright part of the game, but it was only in the first period. It disappeared in the second and third.
So are you seeing is this trend? You get it one game, then the next you don't, then the next maybe you do, and the next you don't?
Yeah, I think that's, you know, we saw a little bit of consistency coming right before the break, except for the Tampa game. We thought we had 4 games in a row where it did, but consistency has evaded us tonight. And consistency with relishing your roles within our habits and details and just winning your one-on-one battle. And the game's a simple game. In the end, you win your one-on-one battle, you get puck support offensively or defensively, you have the advantage. And we're not doing that enough.
I know you're not thinking about this right now, but with Otto this morning, you said that there's some offensive upside. Did he show that on that pass to?
Yeah, real smart hockey play. Good finish by Schenner. You know, he needs to start showing more of it. You know, we see it in snippets. But, you know, we're not seeing it enough from a lot of players. The offensive side of things of, you know, wanting to take the puck to hard areas, wanting to hang on the pucks. You know, that's just got to become a lot better consistently by our group. And that's true of wanting the puck in the defensive zone, too, so we can go the other way.
Like he was pretty upset with himself on that backdoor play on the shorthanded that Thomas tried to give him. Stenberg, is that just kind of part of the offensive instincts that eventually will come, I guess?
Well, I would like him to be a little further wide. You know, when you drive back post, it means you're outside back post. That gives you more room to shoot at. But I just like the fact that he jumped on a shorthanded situation. Thomas actually said, hey, we're going to go for it here before they went out. And Tomer made a great play. But if he's a little more backdoor, I think he has time to see it come through, and then he's outside the goalie's pad. And that's, you know, something we'll continue to work on with everyone.
We've only had 4 shifts in the third. Is there something in particular you're looking from him, or is it kind of the same things you're talking about with the rest of the team?
Yeah, he needs to move his feet. He's a weapon when he moves his feet, and he's skating, and he's creating turnovers, and he's carrying pucks wide. And I just didn't see him doing those things tonight.
It's time to take a look back at tonight's game with the final look.
Driven by Pure Performance. Only stop for all your aftermarket vehicle needs.
Well, you heard it there. I mean, I think that comment at the beginning of the press conference and the end of the press conference pretty much summarized where this team is at right now. If you missed it, this was the initial comment from Jim Montgomery. In the first period, offensively, we played to the goal line, played fast. Defensively, we didn't defend our net hard enough, weren't physical enough. Then in the second period, I didn't think we were physical enough at either end, and they tilted the ice on us. What it comes down to, we've got to have a better effort than that. We have to play with more purpose and pride, and the physicality just isn't good enough right now. We have talked a lot this season about effort and how I always say I never want to question an athlete's effort because they're out there trying. But when the coach brings it up. And, man, it's been brought up 4 times this season. One of those times was by the captain, Braden Shen. I forget which game that was. It was one of the road games. But that was the summary from the head coach on the team's play, and he also said, we didn't get enough from a lot of guys in terms of offense and creating chances and creating looks. I mean, there were 2 shots on goal in the third period. They had 9 total shots in the second and third period combined. They had 9 shots on goal in the first period. But then you heard at the end where he was asked about Jordan Kyrou and only taking 4 shifts in the third period, and he said he wasn't moving his feet. He wasn't playing fast enough. And we've heard Jim Montgomery reference this. Heck, we played the audio in pregame of Berggren coming out of the lineup. And he said, look, Berggren was not doing the details of the hockey game that he was doing in the first couple of games that he played. And what did they do? They healthy scratched him. Jim Montgomery is not afraid to sit a guy on a bench if they're not providing the details and the habits that he wants to see. And Jim Montgomery did not feel as if Jordan Kyrou was showing the speed that he should be using every shift to be a difference maker in this hockey game. And Kyrou did not have a shot attempt tonight. He had 1 blocked shot and one face-off. That was it. No shot attempts, no hits, no takeaways. And that's very uncommon for a Jordan Kyrou. He was a -1. He did pick up an assist on that Braden Shen goal with that pass that he dropped to Otto Stenberg. But, a couple of times, the one reference, back on the first goal scored by Buffalo, I know people will hone in on the Logan Mailloux where he passed it to the Buffalo Sabres, but there was a play earlier that the puck just glided right past a couple of bodies and watched it go. Buffalo picked it up, kept it alive. That resulted in them dumping it in, and that resulted in Mailloux turning the puck over. So, inconsistencies is what we've talked a lot about this season, but once again, we hear Jim Montgomery talking about the team as a whole. Yes, he touched on Jordan Kyrou, but he was asked about Jordan Kyrou only having 4 shifts in the hockey game. The only forward that had fewer minutes than Jordan Kyrou tonight was Dalibor Dvorsky. He played 10 minutes. 2. Robbie Fabry had 11:39, and then Dalibor Dvorsky had 10:12. So Jordan Kyrou, the third fewest minutes amongst forwards in this hockey game. Questioning the effort of the team and questioning that push, pride, as he said it, and physicality. They just lacked it tonight against the Buffalo Sabres. And they'll have to have all of those things on Wednesday when they take on the Colorado Avalanche, because the best team in the National Hockey League, and quite possibly the best team in a single season, dropping the puck against the Blues on Wednesday night. I'm expecting Jordan Binnington to start, and one thing we know for sure, every time Binnington plays against the Colorado Avalanche, he can frustrate them. But Colorado's got offensive firepower that the Blues are going to have to be prepared with and have that pride that Jim Montgomery is going to be looking for. That puck drop on Wednesday at 8 o'clock with a pregame beginning at 7 o'clock right here on your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN. As the Blues fall to the Sabres tonight, 4-2. Hope everyone has a great rest of their evening. Thank you for joining us. A huge shout out to Jim Huer up here in the broadcast booth helping us out this evening, and our great producer Jordan Deacon back in our network studios. I'm Alex Ferrario. Hope everyone has a great rest of their evening. We'll talk to you on Wednesday for Blues and Avalanche in the final game of 2025, and you'll hear it right here on your home for the Blues, 101 ESPN.
Thanks for listening to the First Community Credit Union Blues postgame show.
Presented by Scott Lee Heating Company and Urban Chestnut Brewing Company on 101 ESPN.